Hello everyone, welcome to Telangana Exam Center. Today onwards, we'll also have a series of lectures on Indian Economic Survey 2024. Remember this point. Very important for all the examinations of TGPSC or UPSC 2025. So whenever we are discussing Indian Economic Survey, already you might be aware of this fact that survey consists of the performance of economy. What is it? Performance of economy survey consists of how the agriculture sector has performed, industry sector has performed, service sector has performed, and what are the growth rates, what are the initiatives taken by the government in order to give or stimulus to a sector which is not performing well, and also a lot of social welfare programs and how they have performed. All of that will be present in economic survey. So basically survey gives the performance of the economy of 2-3 years you can say, or 10 years average also you can say. So in this economic survey, we are having some important aspects like, remember this point here, okay, the data is related to 2022, this data is there, 2023 data is there. Along with that, you also have an average data 2011 to 2019. This also you have to remember. Okay, the data is related to 2011 to 19, the average of these years. Along with that, 2022 to 2023, how the economy has performed. These two important data are given in the first chapter. The first chapter that we are going to discuss about it, state of economy. What is it? State of economy means how our economy is at this particular time. What is the state of our economy? That is only called as state of economy, right? Okay, let us go ahead in our discussion. Along with that, if you are every time whenever you read economic survey, you will always come across one important international institution, that is IMF, International Monetary Fund. It releases a report called as World Economic Outlook. So World Economic Outlook, how the outlook of the economy will be there in the world. It does discuss about the past data, present data. Okay, it talks about the various global challenges that hinders the global economy. It also gives projections for the India also, national projections, forecasting the GDP of the national state governments. That also it will give. So very important, the first point that you have to remember is IMF releases a report called as World Economic Outlook. Let us now start our discussion. The first page of the economic survey, the first chapter deals with what? Global scenario. It talks about what? Global scenario. Remember this point. Okay, right? Sure. In this global scenario, some important indicators are given. How our global economy is performing. Okay. And 2023 data is given, 2022 data is given, 2023 data is also given. Along with that, we also have 2011 to 19. So this average is also given. Okay, so you can make a dabba or table like this so that it becomes easy for you to remember in the examination. Okay, please take a note of all of. Now the first variable that they have discussed is real GDP growth rate. What is it? Real GDP growth rate. For 2022, it was around 3.5%. And for 2023 it was 3.2%. Okay, it means what? 2022 the economic global GDP was performing better, whereas in 2023 it decreased. So decreased happened. From 2011 to 2019, the world economy has averaged at 3.5% growth rate. So this is a good indicator. Okay, fine. This one is done. Then CPI inflation is also given. CPI inflation is very important because it is the price where the consumer buys the goods and services. Okay, CPI inflation. If the inflation is more, means it burdens the poor people. Suppose like transportation charges increase over 1 year, you may lose 5,000. All right. So if the stationery charges are increased in 1 year, you will be losing a lot. So if your salary is around 1 lakh rupees, if you're having the price increase of 20,000 in that, so 1 lakh 20,000, okay, you have to extra pay. For that purpose, you will definitely have to do overtime. You have to stress yourself. Your leisure time will go off, or else what will happen? You have to decrease the consumption on other areas, so that in order to catch up with the inflation. So all that will lead to what? The increase in inflation lead to a little bit lower standard of living. Okay, if you see the CPI inflation, according to the survey, it was 8.7%, decreased to 6.8%. Okay, so a slight decrease happened in the inflation, which is again a good thing. So decrease I have written for 2011 to 19, it is average at 3.5%. So not a bad for 2011 to 19 means 9 years, it is 3.5%, it is good. Okay, fine. Then we are having another important indicator, export value. export volume with regard to goods and services. How much quantity of goods and services we have exported and imported, that is what we are learning about. Okay, so the growth rate in 2022 with regard to exports and import was 5%, 5.2%, decreased to very, very, very low 0.5%. Okay, again it decreased, drastically decreased. From 2011 to 19, the growth rate in the exports volume of goods and services, okay, actually average at 3.7%. 3.7%. Remember this point here. Then we are having FDI outflows. Okay, FDI outflows with regard to percentage of GDP. Okay, FDI outflows. 2022, it was around 1.6% of the GDP, whereas in 2023, it was 1.5%. 1.5%. Remember this point here, FDI inflows. Okay, and average, if you see here, the average is 1.8%. 1.8%. This is another important indicator for the global economy. Then we'll see the geopolitical risk index. A very important index has been discussed here, geopolitical risk index. Okay, in geopolitical risk index, I'll talk about what it is. We are having the points here 156. Okay, it decreased to what, 121.7. So the risk of geopolitics on the economy has decreased a little bit, you can say. From 2011 to 19, it has been 121.7%. 121.7%. Another important indicator is given, that is global supply chain pressure index. So if suppose there is a war in Russia, and whatever the Russian ports are there, whatever the Ukraine ports are there, now at this point of time Iran ports are there, Israel ports are there, these all ports, okay, or airways or cargoes will be what, have been definitely suffer from kind of like pressure or not from various terrorist activities. Yes, right. So what will happen to the global supply chain? Okay, from Russia the things will go to what, from India below here it will come, from here it will come, it go to what, Arabia, from here to here, Middle East, like that. No, so if there is war is broken out here, the supply chain will get hampered. So what is that pressure that the global supply will have because of various aspects? This indicator is also given. Right. So let us now discuss about what is this indexes. Okay, I hope that is all written to you. If not, that you can revise and you can pause the video and again write it. So we are having geopolitical risk index. Geopolitical risk index we are having, right? What is this index? Let us see that. Okay. In geopolitical risk index is a tally of newspaper articles. They don't do actually a original research. Okay, they just tally the various newspaper articles and their findings. They just tally it. Okay, basically 10 newspapers will be considered in this particular index. The index is having values. Lower value, okay, it means what? Lower risk. Okay, lower value means what? Lower risk. This point you have to remember. Okay, and it is done for each month. It is done for what? Each month. This point also you have to remember. Okay, this is geopolitical risk index, and if you have seen our data, geopolitical risk index was 157, decreased to 121. It means what? Lower value we are getting. So when lower value we are getting, it means the risk of geopolitics on this global economy is getting little bit eased. Okay, I hope this is. Now another important index is discussed here. Okay, that we have already learned. Global supply chain pressure index. Global supply chain pressure index. Now basically here what they do is they just compare the last value to the present value. Generally they will take the historical data, and by taking the historical data, and they will take the same data here also, and they will try to compare each one. Like 100 is there, now if you might have got 120. Like 100 is there, you might have got what, 80. So what does this decrease and increase means? Remember this point. So if the global supply chain pressure index, okay, is increased, means it was like 100 was the historical data, present was like last year was 80. If in this year 100 was the present data, but it became what, 120. So increase value generally means what? Increase risk. Increase value generally means increase risk. In both the indexes, increase in value lead to what? Increase in this point you have to remember. Another important point that I want to tell you is, so in the global in the geopolitical risk index, again higher value, higher risk. In global supply chain pressure index, again higher value, higher risk. Remember this point. And geopolitical risk index is not doing any research. It is all about what? Tally, taking the tally of various newspaper articles and just publishing the report. Remember this point. Whereas global supply chain pressure index, it generally compare the last year data to the present data. This is all about the important global scenario, very important for all the examination. Don't skip it, and you can write in the description. You can watch the description, whatever I have given to you, and you can be a part of us, empower us. Thank you.